you can change your name to be just your first name, just your last name, or how you would like to be identified in this session. To change your name, if you're on a Mac, click on your own video and select rename. If you're on a PC, right-click on your own video and select rename. And we are all set to go.
Awesome. Christopher, I appreciate you as always, sir. You are awesome. You are such an appreciated member of our group. I'm going to start with Christopher. Could you give a brief introduction of yourself and let our VIP community know where they could send referrals if folks are looking for your assistance?
Well, thank you very much. So the name of my company is Calm Clear Communications. And what I do is I help speakers, trainers, coaches have virtual events without the stress and headache of the technology, because, well, technology does what it does. And if you have a referral for me, so people that are going to be putting on a virtual event, conferences, meetings, webinars, send them to calmclearcommunications.com. Send them to my LinkedIn company page. Connect with me on LinkedIn and share them in a message. And thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christopher. All right. So last week we started something new. We're going to continue on with it again this week, which is I want to allow for some time for some VIP job seeker introductions. By the way, good morning and welcome. If it's your first time coming here, my name is Brenda Meller. I'm your host in our weekly Friday VIP job seeker office hours. I am delighted that you're here today. I'm delighted that you found us. I know that you may not be happy to be here because if you're here, it typically means that you are out of work, underemployed, unemployed, laid off, whatever you want to call it. But you're in a position where you're in career transition and you're looking for some help and some guidance and some resource, maybe some inspiration as well. So I'm glad that you found us. I want to let you know that this is a community of wonderful, amazing, phenomenal people. And I want to encourage you to connect with fellow job seekers as well as some of the all-stars that I have here in the group. So what I want to do for maybe about 5 minutes, well, I'll see how this goes here, but I want to allow for some job seeker introduction. So if you would like to introduce yourself, I want you to use the raise hand function. So go down to your Zoom menu bar at the bottom where it says reactions, click on the little reactions, and I want you to click to raise your hand, just like I did over here. It's a little orange hand over here, right? Raise your hand, and then I'm going to unmute you, and I'm going to ask you to tell us your name, your targeted job title, and your targeted geographic area. Okay, that's it. We don't want to hear your whole life story. I want you to get brief and succinct on this. So if you would like to do that, again, go to the reactions button in your bottom of your Zoom menu, click on the little reactions, and you'll see raise hand. And then I'm going to call on you, and you will unmute yourself, and you will tell us your name, your targeted job title, and your targeted geographic area. Okay, we're going to try to get through as many as we can in about 5 minutes. We'll do a little bit of a power round here. All right, so we're going to go Melissa first, followed by Kevin. Good morning, Melissa. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm really good. Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Mackey. I'm looking for a director of paid search position and something remote, ideally.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Melissa. Let me pull up next Kevin Kane. Kevin, and then we'll go to Al Nunez next. Hey, Kevin.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Kane. I'm a senior project manager looking for a position in the greater New York City area, preferably Fairfield County, Connecticut.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome, Kevin. Al, good morning. How are you today, sir?
Good morning, everyone. Al Nunez from Phoenix, Arizona, looking for a position as Director of Admissions or Registrar at a community college, university, or college here in the Phoenix area or remote. Happy to connect with anyone.
Awesome. We'll go next. We'll go Joan and then Angela. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning.
Joan. Oh, there you go. We couldn't hear you for a second, but now we can hear you. Go ahead and start again.
Okay. Joan Smith, Learning and Development, or Training and Development, hybrid or remote in the Washington, D.C. area. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you, Joan. Angela, followed by Mika.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Angela. I'm out of the Atlanta area. I actually live near Kennesaw Mountain, the foothills of the Appalachians. And what I'm looking for is a national account manager's position, either as an individual contributor or a leader.
All right, I think we had two Angelas because I saw Angela Larson's lips were not moving during that introduction, unless my screen is playing tricks on me, Angela Larson, but if you could go ahead.
Okay, I didn't realize there was another Angela on the call. I'm Angela Larson. I'm in Maryland. I'm looking for an AEM web developer role, either hybrid or, within the Maryland area or remote.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to pull a couple people on screen so you know who's up next. So we'll go Mika, then Andrew, and then Randy. Good morning, Mika. We'll need you to unmute yourself if you could, Mika. You can click on the little microphone icon. Try it again.
Hi.
Here we go. Good job. Go ahead.
Communication jobs in Indianapolis, preferably on-site or hybrid.
All right. Thank you, Mika. Well, welcome to the group. Andrew, you're up next, followed by Randy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Andrew Miller. I'm looking for a corporate social responsibility or position, either with a corporation or a foundation position, helping to provide grants, preferably in the New York City area or remote. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andrew. Randy.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, scratchy voice, been sick. I live in New Jersey. I'm looking for a director level corporate financial planning and analysis position, helping with budgeting, planning, and analytics, preferably remote, what I've dubbed remote plus, which is remote, but with travel as needed.
Wonderful. Thank you, Randy. All right. And I think we will finish off today with you, Julia. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I had trouble getting into the call because of my Wi-Fi, so I apologize for being late. I'm a chief of staff. I'm based in New York City. I'd like to stay in New York City, or what we call the tri-state region, New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. My industry vertical has traditionally been a family office environment, but I'm open to industry as long as it's a privately held company and preferably under 250 people. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Julia. And thank you to everyone who raised their hand and who came in. I know it might feel a little bit intimidating coming up in front of the whole group and saying hi to yourself, but we are amongst friends here. And I want you to know this is a safe place to practice that introduction. And it's part of the reason I have you do it is I want you to get practice with a succinct introduction. I don't ever want to have you in a situation where you run into someone and they say, hey, how are things going at work? And you say, actually, I'm looking for a new job. And they say, what are you looking for? And then you start rambling on with your whole life story. We don't want, we really need to get succinct on our introduction. Well, actually, I'm looking for a marketing director position in Metro Detroit. Let me know if you hear of anything, or do you have any ideas for me, right? It's we as human beings are not that much different. And I'll say this, up front, I come from a corporate marketing background, and sometimes less is more. If you tell people your whole life story, your whole career trajectory, and I might be able to do this, and I could probably do that, and they leave the conversation going, I don't know what she's looking for. So they, in their mental Rolodex is kind of running through and trying to think like, how can I help you? But sometimes I leave those conversations and I'm like, I don't even know what they're looking for. So I might come back and say, so are you looking for a training position? And they'll say, yeah, but in account management. I'm like, okay, now I've got some clarification. So we do this for practice. And we also do introductions inside chat. And I want you to go inside chat right now. If you have not yet introduced yourself, I want you to go inside chat. I'm going to drop in the example again. I want you don't have to say your name because Zoom will already say Brenda Meller to everyone. So you don't need to say your name, but I do want you to say your targeted job title, and you need to get focused and succinct on this. And I know there may be some of you that are considering a career pivot and moving into another area. Wherever you're at now with your targeted job titles, put that in there, right? And you could say, I'm an aspiring graphic designer, meaning I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking to move into that area. But I do want you to be specific on like 1 or 2 job titles you're currently targeting. I want you to tell us your targeted geographic area. Why is this important? Because even though you might be looking for a remote role, knowing that you're based in Dallas or that maybe you're in London, right? Like we want to know where in the world you are located, because there's a good chance that your employer may be in the same part of the world or same time zone, right? So let us know your targeted geographic area, and then do put in your LinkedIn URL with the full HTTPS included as a part of it. The reason I like to use that HTTPS is if you don't include it, you may notice in chat, if somebody puts a link without it, it's not clickable and we can't go on it while we're in the Zoom session. Okay. So a little bit of a pro tip for all of you going inside there. All right, so this is our Friday weekly VIP job seeker office hours. While I give a little bit of an overview and an introduction of what this session will be, I want to ask my all-stars if you could please raise your hand, because it'll make it a little bit easier for me to call on you next. And my all-stars are individuals that I've tapped on their shoulder, or maybe I've voluntold that you'll be helping me out with the meeting. These are people who are either career strategists, career coaches, LinkedIn coaches. They somehow support the job seeking community, and you're going to see a lot of them raising their hands right now. So this is what we do every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern time. By the way, if you ever come across somebody who posts on LinkedIn that they have been let go, laid off, unemployed, they're struggling with their job search, just comment on their post. And that does two things. Commenting helps their post to get more reach. Did you know that? That's a good thing. Not only are you helping them as a human being, but you're helping them get more expanded reach on their LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn platform. So add a comment in there. And in the comment, it's kind of like you'll be winking to me. You'll be saying, check out at Brenda Meller. She may have some resources that can help you. You don't have to know the whole link of everything to put in here. But then what I will do is I will reply back, and I'm going to put in chat right now. I have like a text shortening thing that allows me to, I'm not that fast of a typist, but it allows me to put in a little code and type it in. So I'll reply back to your post and I'll say, thanks for the mention, Christopher. Hey, at Linda, I'd like to invite you to join me on our Friday call. So it's like my wink back to you so we can get them coming into the call, because I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone and in career transition. We do this call every Friday from 10 to 11 Eastern. When you join once, you'll get the calendar invite for the remainder of 2023. Everything's automated that comes in here. If by any chance you get stuck and you can't find the Zoom link, we do have a private unlisted group on LinkedIn for VIP job seeker resources by Meller Marketing. I'm going to ask my intern, Julia, to drop that inside chat. Once we start the call, guys, I don't have a clone of myself. So once we start, I'm on here. I'm not in my email. I'm not on LinkedIn. So if you're struggling with finding the link to join, go to the group. By the way, I'll show the group after our all-star introductions. It's a private unlisted group I have to admit you in, so I'll do that in just a few minutes. Okay, we're going to shift gears and go to our all-stars right now, and we're going to go in this order. As I see you on screen, we're going to go Sue Griffey, Al Smith. Pay attention because I'm not going to do this again. Sue Griffey, Al Smith, Diana Stevens, Joey Himmelfarb, Linda Brubaker, then Kenneth Lang, and then it will be back to me. All right, Sue, let's go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Hi, I told you in the comments, I'm the mentor with Pom Poms. I bring them to this meeting and everywhere I can go with celebrating small wins. I have a global mentoring practice of professionals in transition, and I love helping people out using evidence-based result statements. And stay tuned for Brenda's live-a-thon that you saw her advertise earlier on the scrolling screen. I'm going to be speaking about it and giving you a formula for making it easy to write them. Thanks very much. On to, I believe, Al next, right?
Yes, good morning. Here we are. All of a sudden I got big in here. I'm Al Smith. I live in the Atlanta area. I've been a career coach for about a dozen years. I've also written a couple of job search books. One was a #2 bestseller. One was a #1 bestseller. Go #1. And next is Diana.
Hi, thank you, Al. I'm Diana Stevens. I'm in the Chicago area, but I work nationwide. And I have a company, Mindful Job Alignment. And what I do is I help people with the emotional and the stress relief side of job search. You can think of working with me as a mental spa visit during your job search. So I'm also delighted to be a part of Brenda's LinkedIn-a-thon on May 25th, where I'll be speaking about mindfulness stress relief techniques for job search. Thanks a lot. And I forgot who's behind me. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to take note of that.
It's me. Thanks.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joey Himmelfarb. I am a retired salesperson living in the New York metropolitan area. I'm true blue New Yorker. And so to that end, I can be very aggressive in your face, and I apologize for that up front. But my content or my belief is that positive beats negative every day. And when you're looking for work, you're selling yourself. And that's what I've been touting for the last almost 20, 30 years. So if I hear you going down a negative path, I'll try to nudge you back into the light, if you will. And I'll be sitting back and listening, but I will be listening for and hoping to hear positive content. I think it's Linda now next, right?
It is. Thanks, Joey. Okay, so I'm a job search coach. I also work nationwide. And what I do is that I help people to determine what their best skills are, what they're looking for, and how to get involved. Let's see, I'm getting a message saying I'm muted. Let's try it again.
We can hear you. You're just fine, Linda. Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay. So what I do is I work with you one-on-one to help you determine what your transferable skills are, how best to apply them, and how to get yourself that next forever job, putting yourself in the best light possible. I work a lot with people of all ages. In fact, I'm going to be on Brenda's LinkedIn-a-thon as well on May 25th. Give me a shout, make sure you're getting involved in that. And what I'm going to be talking about is the terrible twos of job search. Too old, too experienced, too expensive. Join us.
Hi, everyone. Kenneth Lang here, your LinkedIn introvert. I've been recently working at Lee Hecht Harrison, working with people in transition on improving their profiles. I love being part of Brenda's community. I hope that everyone can also join me on Tuesdays, 1 o'clock. I put the link in the chat for my weekly LinkedIn Live. And if you're in Northern New Jersey, we're having our next in-person meeting on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock at the Wayne Library. Would love to have you there. Would love to meet some of you in person. And again, I'm also on the LinkedIn Live-a-thon. You've probably heard a lot about that, but my discussion will be about being a LinkedIn introvert. So again, thank you very much for being here, everyone, for being a part of this wonderful community. I'm happy to support all of you too. And I believe I'm throwing it back to Brenda.
You are. You guys are great. And I did say like who was next. I didn't say like make sure you turn the baton over to the next person. But part of the reason I do that every week is I'm usually like running. I've got another call before this in the morning, and then I had to walk the dog and do the stuff. And sometimes I get here and makeup ready, but I'm like finishing my breakfast. I'm like take your time because I'm like eating my breakfast and I don't like to eat on camera. So thank you all so much. I want to thank the All-Stars for helping all of us out here on the call today. What we're going to do next is we're going to move into some Q&A and success stories. So here's what I want you to do. If you have a question, I want you to type in the word question in chat and then type that in all caps and then type in the full question after that. So I'm going to say question, did you eat breakfast today? And this is just an example of what I'm looking for. You can certainly answer my question in chat if you want, but I want to show what we're looking for. Question, did you eat breakfast today? So if you have a question, I want you to type it in chat. And then if you'd like us to call on you, I want you to go to the reactions button and then click on raise hand. And that will bring you up to the top of the queue. And I'll say, okay, Joey, tell us about your question. So I want you to do that. The other thing is I'm looking for success stories. So I'm going to type the word success in all caps, put that in chat if I have a success story to share. A success story could be you got a job offer and sayonara Friday group because I'm not coming on here anymore. It could be I got an interview coming up and that's an exciting thing. It could be recruiters are starting to notice me on LinkedIn. Thank you to your suggestions, Brenda and All-Star team. Whatever you deem to be a success on the path of getting a job, we want to hear about it. And I'm going to ask you to share with us your success and then any advice for fellow job seekers. So again, if you have a question, put the word question in all caps and then just type, you can do lowercase for the rest of the question, but just the word question in all caps. And then click on raise your hand like Dr. Brian has done, and I will call on you. If you have a success, I want you to type the word success in all caps in chat, and then we will call on you. Before we go to Brian, I just want to look through and see who's on. So I want to say good morning and welcome to all of you. We've got about 60 people with us here today. Good morning to Brian, Diana, Christopher, Julia, Kenneth, Kevin, Simeon, Adam, Al N, Al S, Andrew, Angela L, Angela W, Club Angela in the house here today, Becky, Beth, Christopher D, Claudette, Colleen, Dana, Dave, David B, David M, Dennis, Don, Eleanor, ETC, Esmeralda, Gary, Jeff, Jessica, Joan, Joey, Julia, Julide, Kate, Kim, Laura, Lillian, Linda, Lisa B, Lisa V, Club Lisa in the house. Let's see, Louisa, Mary Beth, Melissa, Nancy, Priscilla, Randy, Rob number 1, and Rob W, Club Rob in the house. Roger, Scott, Sherry, Steve, Stuart, nice to see you, sir. Sue, Tamara, Tina, Twana, and Wendy. Thank you guys for letting me do that, because otherwise I don't get a chance to see who everyone's on the call. All
It's
right.
like watching the
Brian.
Waltons.
Good night, John Boy. So Brian, I see you have your hand raised, sir, and I thought you had a question, but maybe it's a success story. What do you want to share with us today? Oh, Brian, I don't have my little mute thing, but your lips are moving. We can't.
I do have a question and a success. So we'll start with success.
Okay.
Through certain person's LinkedIn advice, Brenda. So keep putting content out there and following her guidelines. I got a coaching client, so I'm very excited.
Tell us about this. So, and you're in career transition looking, but you're also starting to dabble in this side hustle. Maybe I work for myself a little bit. So tell us about that. How did you get the client? What was the advice?
So I'm in three weight loss groups. And one of my friends said, "Hey, I need a guest speaker presenter. Can you do it?" And I said, "I'd be thrilled to." And it was early Saturday morning. There were 20 people on. I did a very simple 1 slide. Contact me here. I'll send you 7 tips on how to not sabotage your weight loss. And I got 20 responses. And then 2 people contacted me right afterwards and said, "Let's talk about your coaching." So I did 2 free coaching consults and I'm at 50%. So I got one. It's a start. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. It's really cool. And I think I sent it to you, Brenda. If not, I'll send it to many of you who do speaking events or just message me on LinkedIn. Found this really cool app through another speaker that if you do a live event, you put up a QR code, people open up the app and you get instant testimonials and feedback on your presentation. So if I was doing a talk with all of you and we were even on Zoom, I could go up to Kenneth, the event planner, afterwards and say, "Look, here's live."
Brian, I'm going to jump in because I want to keep us going if you don't
Sure.
mind.
All right. Then my question, branding. So I'm at a substance abuse clinic and we have a concern about privacy. So my boss has a personal LinkedIn page. If we create a company page on LinkedIn and promote through that, does information float back to his personal page, or is it all separate, or should he create a new LinkedIn profile that doesn't have any of his old stuff and create the
So
company
let me
page
jump
from
in
there?
and answer that. So a company page, anyone can create a company page. If you add it to your experience section of your profile, then you would be shown as an employee and there'd be an association. You don't need to, but I think it might, I'll be honest with you, Brian, it might look a little weird if you create a company page and there are no employees.
Oh no, I want to create it under
says
my
that.
boss's name. So
Okay. Yeah. Then you could definitely do that. Yes. And for other people, if they don't want to be associated with a company page because they're trying to maintain some anonymity if their association, they don't have to list it in their experience section. Does that help you?
yes, but does the information on his company page so revert back? I mean, can people find out?
Not unless he were to say, if it says Brenda Meller Consulting and I go, okay, well, that's Brenda Meller. If there's no mention of the individual, if it's not linked to their company page, there's no association with it. Now, obviously the page wouldn't want to post and tag Brenda Meller in their posts if you're trying to create some separation out there. Okay. Does that help you, Brian? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to take Brian off. Thank you so much. And I see Eleanor has her hand raised. Hey, Eleanor, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. I love the word believe on the wall right behind
thank you.
Very inspirational. So do you
well,
have a question or success story?
Yep. I actually started a job on Monday. I'm very excited.
So tell us any advice for fellow job seekers that helped you to get that job.
I think that this group was great for me because I had a place to come and it helped me to remain positive. I think that staying positive is huge. realizing that obviously there's peaks and valleys, but trying to stay positive. And I would say always take the interview, because I literally didn't know that I was going to be interested in this company, and decided, hey, I'll meet with them anyways. And it's like everything I could want and more. So
That's awesome. And I want to share with you, when you say always take the interview, I think that's really great advice. Sometimes at face value, you might not be super excited about the position. And my friend Tina Marie Woolfield, I'm going to give her a shout out. She would always tell me, if you're a job seeker, you don't turn down an interview, you turn down a job offer. So, the interview, I think, can be a little bit of exploratory discovery. And even when you're like, I don't think I'm a good fit, well, they think you're a good fit. So take the interview, ask them the question. I'm curious, what was it on my resume that prompted you to reach out to me? So that's awesome, Eleanor. So when do you start?
I start on Monday.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations to you. We always love hearing success stories, and I'm glad that you found this group to be a resource. No, you can always come back if you ever want to pop in on a Friday. We'll miss you, but I'm delighted to see you go in a good way.
Can she say can she say where she's going?
It's
Eleanor,
a small
do you want to
company. It's a small mental health company in the Boston area.
And what are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be an HR specialist.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that, Eleanor. Okay, Christopher Dixon, I see that your hand is raised. Let me just gonna navigate around a little bit here. Did you have a question or a success story for us today?
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you find that the open to work banner is beneficial or detrimental to the job search?
Okay, I'm gonna ask my all-stars to weigh in on this. So all-stars, raise your hand and I'll call on you and we'll pull you up on screen here. The question is open to work banner. If you should add it to your profile or not. I see Joey has raised his hand first. So Joey, will go to you, and then Kenneth, and then Al. What do you think?
So it depends. And I've heard both ways it works. What I would suggest you do, Chris, is put it on for a week, see what happens. Take it off for a week, see what happens, and just see what happens, because there's no I don't think there's a steadfast rule as to whether it helps or not. I know recruiters like it because now they know that you're looking. It depends. It really is it's hard to say. I don't know if that helps, but
I've had it on for like the past 6 months and it hasn't done too much.
And take it off.
There is
a setting also that you can make it visible to recruiters only, or make it visible to all of LinkedIn. So you can choose which of those suits you best.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's not working, take it off.
There's one opinion from Joey. Let's go to Kenneth, then Al, then Linda.
I would agree with Joey that it depends, with a couple of caveats. First of all, if you take it off and put it back on, and then you'll get noticed. I actually posted about this, like on Dice, when you create a new resume, even if you make one letter change, it comes up as a new profile change. But I was actually in Atlanta this week and talking to someone who has the recruiter seat, and he showed me when someone goes open to work, they get notified at the top that this person has just created an open to work, and they're notified of that, which I found quite interesting. And that's the recruiter's seat, not the recruiter life, but they find out when someone has open to work, they say, this person is now open to work and this is information about them. So I know Leah Harrison, our best practice is not to do it for everyone. I'm going to go back against that and say the more people who know, the better, because I think it's more important to get the word out, because every situation is different.
Okay. Thank you, Kenneth. All right, Al, what's your opinion? Open to work.
I'm not a great big fan of the green yoke. And I use that term on purpose. And the reason was, I try things when they first come out. When I tried it, I started getting lots of spam. That being said, ticking it on and off, anything that is a change can be a positive. And the same thing goes with job boards. Take your resume down and put it right back up.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Al. Linda, what's your opinion?
I'm a big fan, actually, of the open to work banner. I find that it really does help, and it may work taking it off and taking it back on again. But let me give you a quick success story. One of the people that I was working with questioned me about whether or not to do it. He put it on. He was contacted by somebody he worked with years ago who didn't know all the things that he had done recently. She not only contacted him, but she actually made a job for him And she's now a vice president in her company simply because she saw that green open to work banner.
Okay, I want to end with my advice, if you don't mind, Christopher, and I'm going to pull your profile up on screen as I talk about that. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, and I guess you've got no choice because I've already got your profile up on screen. But here's what I think about. I don't think there's like one magic bullet that works, you know, for anyone. I think it's a combination of factors. I come from a corporate marketing background. I'm a heavy user of LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn coach and trainer. So here's what I think about when I come to your profile. I want to know like that you're looking for a new job. I want to be very clear on what are your goals for using LinkedIn. Here's what I see when I visit your profile. Your banner, it says your name, organizational consultant. Immediately I'm thinking, oh, he's a consultant. He's self-employed. He's looking for project work. He's not looking for work. That's my immediate impression when I see that. And honestly, if I were you, Christopher, what I would do is I would take off Christopher Dixon, because you said Christopher Dixon in your header image, you have Christopher Dixon below your name. It reminds me of like the Department of Redundancy department. Like, why do we need it in both places? Honestly, what I would do, and what's your targeted job title?
Change management specialist.
Okay, so take out Christopher Dixon, organizational consultant, change management specialist. Make that big and prominent on your header. If you want to keep some of the other keywords, that's fine, but know that those are secondary. The focal point is the job title that you are seeking. Now that combined with open to work might help people to know that you're actually looking for a job. When I look down your profile, let's say I skipped the header and I didn't form that conclusion. When I look down your profile, I go to your about statement. I'm trying to figure out in here, are you looking for a job or are you looking for clients? And nothing's really jumping out at me. You're telling your backstory, which is good. It's helpful. But I would love to see, honestly, in your about statement, maybe it's in the second paragraph, maybe it's at the end of the first paragraph. I am currently seeking a full-time position as a change management specialist in the New York metro area or a fully remote position. I would love to see you spelling that out in there. I think that would make it a little bit more clear. One other thing, when I go down to your experience section, this is the first really crystal clear thing that I'm seeing that says that you're open to work. But then underneath it, I see that you have organizational development consultant, which is great. But I would love to see you spelling out maybe in the first paragraph, while I'm looking for my next full-time job as a change management specialist, I'm taking on part-time and project work as an organizational development consultant. So it says, hey, recruiter, my main goal is looking for a job, but I'm not just sitting around. I'm taking on some project work until I find that full-time job. How does that sit with you, Christopher? Talk to me about that.
All right. I thought I did that in the open to work.
Yeah.
Section.
But combination of everything, you know, I'm talking about here, you know, changing out the banner image, then placing the open to work, adding in a statement in the about. So I want you to think about that. I mean, I'm not the boss of you. I always tell people, like, I'm the boss of my kids. I tell my kids what to do. My son's 18, so he's fighting me on it these days. He's like, I'm an adult. I'm like, you still live here. I can tell you what to do. But we have a curfew and he'll always like be a couple minutes after.
Yeah.
I'm not the boss of you, Christopher. I just, you know, all of the advice I think that we're giving to you, we're trying to be helpful. I look at hundreds and thousands of profiles. And if it's not clear to me within a couple of seconds, it's probably not clear to others. We don't want people to dig and to try to figure out. A lot of recruiters are not going to convince, I mean, they're not going to try to convince a consultant to come into a full-time job, because if you've had a taste of this life of being self-employed and you're successful as a consultant, heck no, am I going to leave that and go back to a full-time job? So I want it to be like clear that this is just something you're doing until you find a full-time job, but I want it to be crystal clear, like what you're looking for. All right.
Yeah. Well, I just got your book, so I'm still crafting my LinkedIn profile.
Oh, good.
From what I found in your book.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. And I'll ask Julia, my intern, if you could drop the link to the book inside chat. And if others are interested in checking out the book, would love to have you take a peek at it. I see next we have a hand raised from Julia. Remember, I'm giving priority to people who raise your hand. So please, if you have a question or a success story after you drop it into chat, please raise your hand. All right, Julia, what do you got for us? Question, success story?
No, a success story I can share, but I did want to see clarification about the statement about open to work, if I could, please.
Sure.
Which is, I I don't know how I missed it, but I didn't have the open to work up even for the recruiters. So I appreciated this this meeting last week. So I did that, and I've had nothing in the past week. So is what you're all saying, if you take it off and you put it back on, I don't personally want to have the banner out there for my entire network. If I even do that off on switch just for the recruiters, that might generate some response, is what you're saying? Is that, did I hear that correctly?
I think that's what, was it Kenneth who said that, or who said that? If you turn it off and on, it might bring you
Well,
back up
I
as
did say
visible.
that because we test it. It's like if you're on DICE, we used to do this all the time. If you put your resume out Monday morning, then
Yeah,
they
I
get a
know.
report about all the ones that have just been updated, even if you're just changing a character. So there is, so again, if you have it all for a month and put it back on, again, it's the way LinkedIn and everyone else perceives it. It doesn't hurt.
Okay, so I'll do that just for the recruiters and see how that works. I still am working on my profile. I think it's pretty good, but I want to incorporate more of your advice, Brenda. And then I had a success story. Do I have time to share that quickly?
Yes, please go right ahead.
So somebody in another group shared a TikTok link, which I also have an 18-year-old who feels that she's an adult. I'm telling you, I'm counting the days till she goes to college in August. But so I empathize, sympathize. But the TikTok, which she showed me how to play, actually talks about how to go through posts in LinkedIn to see your keywords. So I'm looking for chief of staff, and I go through posts now that say hiring, quote unquote, chief of staff, to keep those 3 words together. And he actually gives, and I'll put it up in the chat, how you respond to those people. So I did that for a recruitment opportunity, and the guy hit me back, and I'm in the pool now and got an interview, 2 interviews actually, with the bank for a chief of staff role. So I don't know that I'm the most competitive candidate in the world for that one, but that these LinkedIn kind of tips, including the ones you give, can really, get some response if you have the right outreach.
I think that is worth a quick demonstration, because I love that
Oh,
there's I love LinkedIn is adding in, and some that I'm like, I'm not so crazy about. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate what Julia was just talking about. I'm going to type in the search bar in quotation marks, which says this exact expression, hiring.
I did it with hiring and then chief of staff in quotes, but I guess you could do it that way too. Yeah.
You could try, and that's a really good point too. Try different combinations of this too. Hiring by itself and then chief of staff. And then I'm going to click on posts.
Right.
And it's going to show me people that are hiring for those job titles. Now, sometimes you'll get a lot of results. Sometimes you might not get the same. Looks like this company, a lot of people are doing the same job posting, but really a great thing to think about, not just looking in the job boards, but looking in just your LinkedIn posts as well. So let me try it with just hiring. I'm going to put plus in front of hiring and then chief of staff in there. And I'm going to click on enter.
What does plus mean?
It's already, I think, pulling up. No, let me go back to posts again. Plus means must include this word. And it looks like it took it out for some reason. But in here, I don't see it as the other one I liked better, where it said hiring chief of staff. Now, were you using just hiring like that in chief of staff?
I'm going to try it your way, because it seems more inclusive. And the other thing that I did that might help people is to sort by most recent or top match.
Yeah.
Or latest and 24 hours, because otherwise you'll get everything back to eternity. And I like 24 hours, but you can do it whatever way you want.
That's awesome. Thank you, Julia. We appreciate you sharing that tip with us. Was it a question or was it a success story? And now I'm like forgetting what it was.
Yes. Success, because I wrote to the recruiter who did that, and this TikTok that I'll put in has the language for writing to the recruiter. And just trying to connect with him, like not trying to get a free message or anything. And you can put it in the 120 characters, and he wrote right back.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that and for prompting the demonstration on screen. I think a lot of times folks will like to see those. And I'll remind everyone too that this session is being broadcast live on YouTube, where you can also watch the playback. I'm going to ask my intern, Julia, to go into the chat right now and drop the link for today's call. because we do move pretty quick, and you want to look at that again, you can watch the YouTube again later. And we also have a playlist of all of our Friday VIP calls for 2023. I'll ask Julia to include that, the playlist link. It has like all of the, it's almost like watching a podcast. You can watch one and then the week before and the week before. Every week we cover different topics and themes and stuff like that. All right, Lisa, success story, question. What do you have to share with us today?
I have a question. So I was applying for a job. I saw it on LinkedIn, and down at the bottom of the job description, it says meet the hiring manager. So we had our session this week, and I wanted everybody to know that you gave me some really great information on connecting with the hiring manager, and then looking at my connections and actually connecting with somebody that knew the hiring manager.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So would you?
So is it the question like share the technique with us or?
Share. Yes.
Okay.
Share.
Okay. So let me just go into, I'm going to do a quick search and see how quickly I can find one of these, but I'm going to go into search results. I'm going to type in marketing director, and then I'm going to go to the jobs board once this loads. Sometimes LinkedIn is going a little slower than I'm going. So I'm going to click on jobs, and I need to move my Zoom menu bar out of the way. Okay. So first one in here, Fortunato, director of marketing. And I see right here, Lindsay is hiring for this job. So she is disclosing her name as associated with this position. Now I have premium. I think Lisa, you have premium, if I'm not mistaken, job seeker premium, right? So if you had, I don't think it matters if you have premium or not. I think as long as they've disclosed themselves up here, you'll see their name. On here, if you do have premium, you'll get the ability to, it looks like, to message them. Oh no, they're asking me for InMail. I wouldn't do that. I never InMail people, by the way. What I would do instead is I would, if it's not clickable, then just, kind of copy her name and go to another tab and visit her LinkedIn profile. So there's always a way to get to their profile. Even if things aren't clickable, don't feel like you can't because you don't have premium. For the most part, everything I share in these Friday VIP calls, I am sharing with you based on the free basic version of LinkedIn. Let me see if this is clickable. I'm going to go to Fortunato because I'm finding a bunch of Lindsay's that are in here. I'm going to click on 28 employees. Let's see if we can find, okay, here she is. So I'm going to go on their company page. I'm going to search for employees. And if I see the connect button, I would click on connect, add a note, and I'm going to type in something like this. Hi, Lindsay, we haven't met yet, but, and if you can find something on their profile to mention, that would be even better. For example, hi, Lindsay, we haven't met yet, but I see that we share a mutual connection, Fred Lamano, on LinkedIn. Let's connect on LinkedIn, Brenda Meller. And then after Lindsay accepts my invitation, then I would say, hey, it looks like you're hiring for a marketing director position. I'm clicking on the link to apply, but I was wondering if I might be able to communicate with you directly about my interest in this position. So you can get a little bit of a conversation starter there. So was that the technique, Lisa, that you were asking about?
Yes.
Okay.
That was really helpful.
Also talked about when you're applying for a job, and Lisa's like a really great student. By the way, I'm going to put my coaching link inside chat in a minute. If you want to sign up for a discounted session, I'll give you the link for that. But Lisa does the homework and she's doing the things. And I feel like Lisa is on the brink of like, great things are going to happen. She's going to find a great job. But I said, okay, you applied for the job. I said, did you click follow to follow the company page? Yep. Already did that. Did you make connections at the company? And I can't remember if you said yes, or I think you said yes in that scenario. And I said, okay, go back to the company page and don't just connect with the hiring manager. Try to connect with people whose departments you would likely interact with. And Lisa's looking for like fundraising development. And so I said, find other people who work in like fundraising, development, marketing, kind of related groups and areas, and use the same approach with them. The more connections that you make at a company, the more familiar you start to become, and the more names that you can drop when you invite other people to connect with. And then you can start conversations with multiple people. Hey, I'm applying for the marketing director position at Fortunato. Do you have any insights into the hiring position? Another person, I might say, I'm applying for the marketing director position. It looks like you've been there for a few years. I'm curious, what do you think of the culture there? And I don't ever make a direct ask until they ask the question, hey, why don't you send me your resume? And sometimes they'll say, we've got an employee referral program, and I'll be happy to send it to the hiring manager. But I want to make sure that we are following, or rather liking, the company page. We are making multiple connections with employees at the company. And I wouldn't do this necessarily for every job, but like for the jobs that you're super interested in, I would spend the time doing this. Then maybe go to the posts. Now this page unfortunately doesn't have a post, but if they did, I would like a recent post and maybe add a thoughtful comment, maybe once a week or just once a month inside there. And when I went through that list with Lisa, she's like, yep. I'm like, all right, good. My work here is done. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing. Anything else before we move on?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Joey, I see that your hand is raised, sir. Did you have something to add to that?
I did. I noticed a comment that Ken had put in just recently about how we should be going to companies and letting them know that we're interested in them. The same thing happens in real estate. I used to be a realtor for a while. And what we used to counsel our clients is that if you see a home in your neighborhood that you like, send the letter to the homeowner and say to them, I don't know if you're looking to move, but just so you know, I'm an interested buyer. And so I don't know if you're thinking about it, but if you are thinking about it, give me a call. So that's the same analogy when you're going and you're looking in the workplace and you're seeing a company that you want to work at, let them know. You don't know. You don't know, right? So what have you got to lose, right? You didn't have the job before. You don't have it now. You didn't lose a thing. So it's just another way, another avenue, another process, if you will, to try to get in there.
Thank you, Joey. All right. Vic, the Pie Man, I see that your camera is off, but you had your hand raised, sir. Did you have a question or a success story to share with us?
I have my camera off because I'm eating, so I decided not to let everybody see me drinking and eating and stuff. I have a question. I know when, at least in California, and I assume other places, when you are laid off versus resigning, you have certain rights that you wouldn't get if you resign. When it comes to a contract and the contract ends and it is not renewed, are there similar rights, or is it just, it ends and you're done?
Ooh, so might be a question for my all-stars in here. So are you talking about unemployment benefits? Is that what you're referring to, Vic?
That would be part of it, but if there's anything else that, would fit in that same category, then that too.
Okay, all-stars, any advice I see a couple hands going up here. So we'll go Kenneth, then Joey, and then Linda.
I mean, I think from an unemployment standpoint, because I work with every state's different, obviously, but when you go back to work, you have to let them know. And when you're in the position, you can refile for unemployment. Because there's also considered almost like seasonal unemployment. When you have people that are landscapers, people that do work seasonal, they do that as a regular basis. They're working and then they're not working. So that's a part of it. I think, I don't know exactly what other things you'd be referring to. I mean, when you're applying for jobs and you're in between assignments, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the main thing is the minute you lose an opportunity, just to make sure you file and just get the ball rolling. So it takes a while for unemployment to actually get through, and have the processing done. So I hope that answers part of your question.
Yes, it definitely takes a while to get it started. I understand that part,
Yep.
Especially in California.
Yep, I'm sure.
So I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV. And to Ken's point, every state is different. I think every county is different, but certainly you could, I think if you're a 1099 and then you're done, I think you're done. I don't think you have any benefits whatsoever. Is that right? Linda's shaking her head, right? So I think I know that, but if you're a W-2, I would suggest you here's what you could do. Find a lawyer in your network. That's a great person to become friends with, and share with them what you're going through. And maybe he or she can help you. And, oh, by the way, maybe connect you with somebody who's looking for a person, who needs a person like you. Maybe, I don't know. Just another way to get into a company.
1099 is completely not counted in New York State. You can be on a 1099 and get all the unemployment you're entitled to from losing your W-2 status. So for 26 weeks. So it's best to go state by state, as you're saying. Sorry to jump in.
Thank you. Linda, did you have something to add to that?
I do, I agree. And this is one of the pandemic benefits, unfortunately, that went away. During the pandemic, if you were a 1099 contractor and you lost your job, you were in most states eligible for unemployment. That has now gone away in most states. But I still think that it's a good idea to go ahead and try. At the same time, when you lose that job or when you're in a contract, and sorry, other HR people here, but my advice always is, as you know, that contract is nearing its end, start looking, because you're in charge of your own career, and it's really up to you to make that clear and to make those choices. One last piece is that if you are doing a contract, and I think that there are really good things to do, see whether the company will do it through an outside service. Because if you are hired, for example, by a Robert Half to do their contracting, to contract for Walgreens, on your resume, you say you're working for Walgreens, but your paychecks come through Robert Half. And as an employee of Robert Half, you actually may be eligible for unemployment depending upon how they structure. Just an idea.
Thank you, Linda. All right, awesome. I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Vic, did we answer your question for you, first of all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some of that is stuff I already had in mind, and I know it does vary by state, if not more locally. But I do like the idea of the one I am on is through a staffing agency. It's not, in this case, Chipton Ross. So that what Linda just said makes sense to check and work on that. So in general, yes.
Okay.
Next.
All right. And I'll just invite folks in chat, if you have any other advice for Vic, please drop them into chat, because we're just bouncing ideas off each other here, and there might be other thoughts on there. You prompted me to think about, Vic, our resource that we've created. It's called the Do This Now checklist, and Julia just dropped it into chat a few minutes ago. It's a free download. It's a lot of things that when you are unemployed, you find yourself in a situation where like you have no guidance, like nobody really tells you what you're supposed to do. And there's even some things that you don't even know that you should do like as quickly as possible. Things like going into your LinkedIn account and changing your email so that it's not your work email, because if a recruiter were to email you, you're not going to get it anymore. Like things like that. And then filing for unemployment. And I want to remind everyone too, when it comes to unemployment, I want you to keep in mind that we all are paying into the unemployment system while you are working. So you are putting your money into the unemployment system while you are working. When you are unemployed, I don't want anyone to feel like I don't want to apply for unemployment because it's like I feel like it says something about me. I failed and I'm not. I mean, you paid into it. It's just like a car insurance. You pay into your car insurance program. If you get into a fender bender, if somebody hits you and you've got damage to your car, you sure as heck are going to call your insurance company and say, pay for or reimburse me for my expenses. So it's the same thing with unemployment. Even though it's not a lot, it's not the same as your paycheck. It's money that is entitled to you because that's your money. Okay. And there is typically a time period based on your state and area where you're at where you have to apply. So don't wait, because if you wait too long, it'll take a lot of time to get that money back to you, and you might even lose benefits entirely. So check out the Do This Now checklist. It's a really great resource. By the way, if you downloaded it before and you can't find it, you can download it again. Just go to the webpage and download it again, and feel free to share that with others that are in career transition. Okay, so we got a few minutes left here. I want to scroll through. I'm going to pick one more question because I don't see any other. Let me see if I see any. Oh, I do see. Rob, you have your hand raised, sir. Are you able to unmute yourself? I think you have video off, but are you able to chat? Do you have a question or a success story for us?
It's a question following up on the unemployment stuff. So does it, how like the states require that you are applying for, I don't know, 4 or 5 positions per week and putting that in once you get a job offer from a company, and let's say you've got a week or 2 while they conduct background check and do your drug screen, and you have a start date that's like 2 weeks out, are you eligible to keep just applying for a few more positions, even though you have no intent to take those roles, and still reporting that as job search activity right up to the Friday before your start date, and then claiming those weeks as
Kenneth, you unmuted. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think you have to understand that this is all documentation for the state. To do that, they very rarely are ever going to look into it, but it's just kind of another crossing of the T's and dotting of the I's. I mean, state systems, I'm sure, are very wacky and totally screwed up. And we had a whole thing here in New Jersey where it was an old COBOL mainframe system. They actually looked to hire a bunch of people out of work to try to fix the system.
Mhm.
So I think just do it. It's just crossing T's and dotting I's. And you can keep applying and getting unemployment until the first day you start on your job and get paid.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
And
And then
that's
when
my
you note, once you start, you note the first week, you, instead of filing, you notify that you've returned to work.
Yep,
Seconds.
exactly.
It doesn't start.
I'm going to ask everyone to keep themselves on mute.
I should have let it run longer, but
It doesn't matter. The battery's dead. It wouldn't have
Okay.
mattered if you.
All right, I'm going to just do a mute all real quick.
It was
Sorry.
2 seconds.
There we go. It looks like somebody unmuted, and I don't want to call anybody out and embarrass them because it sounds like somebody's battery was dying, but we want to make sure that we're keeping us going along here. We've got just a few minutes left. I don't see any other hands raised, so let me just find one more question, and then I want to summarize about a few of the upcoming events to make sure that you are all aware of them. I'm just scrolling up through chat on here and just looking for a question. Okay, Simeon, I saw this one. A colleague posted his resume in PDF in the documents section. I would think that his resume looks and reads a whole lot better than what LinkedIn offers. Is this something you advocate? Thanks. I would say absolutely not, because I want to know who has a copy of my resume. I don't want it to fall into the wrong hands. And I also think about the fact that your resume sometimes contains information like your home address, which you really should with metro area instead, but sometimes people still put home address, phone number. There are people that, unfortunately prey on job seekers, and there might be opportunities you're not interested in that people get your resume. That's my opinion. Does any of the other all-stars want to weigh in on this, adding a resume publicly to your document section? Joey?
I do. Yeah. For me, the resume is a very stoic, proper document. It's like going to the opera at the Met, whereas LinkedIn can be a concert, like a Taylor Swift concert or a Justin Bieber concert, right? It's a little bit more flowing. It's a little bit more personal, a little bit more lively. As you've seen in all the about sections from a lot of examples, that you can personalize that. It's like 3,000 characters. Is that right, Brenda? So you can write a lot about yourself and divulge a lot about yourself that you really shouldn't or couldn't in a resume. So do it in LinkedIn and let the resume stand alone as the proper document that it is.
All right. We see a lot of opinions coming up on here. All right. We'll go Al, then Sue, and then Linda.
Isn't it our goal to have a recruiter call us? And don't we want to have a conversation with a recruiter? If you give away all your information, what do you have left? So when you have a conversation with a recruiter, it's called an interview.
All right. Thank you, Al. Sue, and then Linda.
Same advice. Don't give it away, because sometimes they're just using it to pad their numbers. I've got 20 applicants for this. You don't want to be in that pile.
All right. Thank you, Sue. Linda.
Absolutely agreed. You want to be in control of who has a copy of your resume. You want to be in control of where that resume gets sent in. And you also want to be able to give them something that is different than that LinkedIn profile. The LinkedIn profile is your teaser. It's a little bit generic. Your resume is targeted for that particular position. So don't post it.
All right, wonderful. Thank you all so much. And I want to thank all of our all-stars. By the way, all the all-stars, hopefully you've already dropped your introduction and links into chat. If you have books for sale or upcoming events, courses, things like that, please do drop those into chat as well. And I want to encourage everyone in the group here too. I invited these people into my all-star group for a reason. They're good people. They give back. They donate their time every single week to come in here. If you are ever in need of a career coach, or you're looking to buy a new book, or you need some help with your resume, etc., if you need a LinkedIn trainer, Kenneth's another LinkedIn trainer as well. I want you to reach out to these people and chat with them. Frequently, I'll have people from within this group, they'll reach out and they'll say, I need a resume writer. And I'll be like, you got to work with our people. Like, they are donating their time every week to come in here. So I want to remind you, I pick these people for a reason. They're good people and they donate their time. So come in and check them out. Okay, so there was a few things that we talked about this week in terms of upcoming events. And I want to remind you all about and give you a little bit of overview information about each of those right now. So I've got a couple of upcoming events in the next few weeks that I want to speak of. The first is, and Julie, I may have you help me because I'm having a hard time finding, I had like a little summary in my last call, but I'm having a hard time finding it. The first thing is I have an online virtual workshop that's called Using LinkedIn in Stealth Mode. It's really designed for individuals who are working but looking for a new job using LinkedIn. But if you are a job seeker in career transition, you're certainly able to come out and check that out. That workshop is a $47 workshop. It's 45 minutes long. You get access to me to ask questions at the end of the session. You get a playback for 30 days and you get a downloadable checklist with that. So it's one of the more reasonably priced offerings that I have. So that's part of the reason I wanted to mention that to you. Another thing is, actually, I did find it in here, so I'll drop this into chat. Another thing is I am planning a free upcoming LinkedIn Live-a-thon event. I'm super excited about this. If you've been in the group for a little while, you'll know I used to do these a lot during the pandemic. And what I'm doing is I'm holding, it'll be like a 4-hour block. I'm trying to type and talk at the same time and not doing a very good job. Thursday, May 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm calling it a LinkedIn Live-a-thon for experience-rich job seekers. So it's designed for individuals that are age 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus. I don't like to say mature job seekers. I like saying experience rich because that's what you are. You are experience rich. And I'm bringing in a few of the all-stars will be on the panel. I'm bringing in some other experts as well. And we will be offering you advice in different areas of your job search and different types of things like that as well. So check that out, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday, May 25th. It's free. And during the session, I'll have, if you can't attend it or if you want to get all the playback links, and there'll be some freebies and resources, there's will be a website that you can register to get those. And I'll mention that during the live session. So that's the stealth mode, the LinkedIn Live-a-thon for the experience rich. I feel like there was one other thing and I'm blanking on what it is, but anyways, there'll be more things coming soon as well. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for joining us on the call here today. Looks like many of you who stayed on to the very end, and I want you to know that we noticed that you were here. We saw you today. I don't want you to feel like you're alone in on this process. Above all, when you are in career transition, I know it can be very isolating. It can feel like you're used to being with a team, like going to a job every day and being with the people and going in the coffee room and saying hi to people and leaving at the end of the day and going back to your family. Now you're home every day, right? And it can be a little bit like, just it's emotionally, it's a lot to go through. So I hope you are getting out. I hope you're going to coffee houses, to your library, to networking events. I hope you're surrounding yourself IRL in real life with real life people. But I also encourage you to come back to our Friday group every week. You are always welcome here. And we even have people that sometimes will leave because they find a job and then the revolving door kind of brings them back in here again. Things don't work out. Companies go through changes. They come back in the group. You're welcome here anytime. I want you to know this is like an oasis, a haven, a good support community of people that are here to support you. And you can always come in and get your questions answered. Even if we don't get through your questions in the video, people will be answering your questions in chat. All right, so we talked about LinkedIn Live-a-thon, the stealth mode. I think we put the book link in the chat. I know the others, I encourage you guys to do that as well. Oh, download the chat before you leave. Let me remind you how to do that. If you click on the chat button, at the bottom where it says to everyone, you should see some little icons along the bottom. Click on the little 3 dots, and then you'll see an option that will say save chat. When you do that, it's going to say chat saved, and then it'll say show in folder. And if you click on that, it'll show like where it is saved on your laptop. Okay. I got somebody reaching out to me through voicemail saying, how do I find that again? So I'm putting this in the YouTube. I will point you back to the YouTube video for those instructions. But again, if you have saved the chat, you'll have to look for your downloads folder on your laptop to find them. And I would just do it again now and then click on show in folder and you'll see where your downloads are saved. Mine is literally in a folder. I think it's called documents. I think I directed it there, but that's where that goes. If you happen to be watching this on a tablet or a phone and you can't download chat, go into chat right now and say, could someone email me the chat? Someone from the group will do that for you. As soon as I get out the call, I got to go walk the dog and then I'm getting ready for my next phone call. So I can't do that for you, but someone else in the group will help you. Sue Griffey, I see that your hand is raised. Was that left over or did you have something? You're good? Okay. I want to thank you all for coming so much. I want to remind you that we believe in you This is temporary, and someday you will be back to work and you will not be on these phone calls and you're going to be like, oh, that was a lot of fun going on those Friday phone calls. But our goal is to not see you. So thank you again for attending. Thank you to Diana, Julia, David, Adam, LN, LS, Andrew, Angela L, Angela W, Becky, David, Don, ETC, Esmeralda, Jeff, Jessica, Joan, Joey, Julide, Kevin, Kim, Lillian, Louisa, Nancy, Priscilla, Rob, Rob W, Roger, Scott, Sherry, nice to see you again, Simeon, Stuart, Sue, Tamara, Tina, Twana, VH, Vic the Pie Man, and Wendy. My name is Brenda Meller. I'm here to help you get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. We're here for you every Friday. Thank you guys. I'm going to stop the video on YouTube. I'll keep the chat open for about 5 minutes while you grab the download. I'm going to go take the dog out real quick.